Hey, what's up everyone? Brian here from Price Level Trading, and in this video we're going to talk about using the trading platform ThinkOrSwim to do our technical analysis. Now, Kristen and I both use this platform on a daily basis, and you'll see it in our live trading room. So specifically what I'm going to cover in this video is how to use the flexible grid feature to link multiple charts together with so you can do your analysis on one ticker symbol. And we'll also talk about how to add indicators, how to use the drawing tools, and how to adjust the display and the colors on our charts, and much more. So let's just dive right into it, and if you guys have any questions at all, just make sure to drop a comment on this video and we'll get right back to you. Alright guys, let's jump right in.
Okay guys, so after you have opened up a new account, a new brokerage account with TD Ameritrade, and you have downloaded ThinkOrSwim, and I provided the link to do that in the description below in this video. So what we have to do is just log in, and make sure once you log in that you see up here in the top left, it says connected and real-time data. That's very important. Since we're doing our technical analysis in ThinkOrSwim, we need to make sure that we have real-time data. And if you don't have real-time data, that means you need to sign the exchange agreements in your TD Ameritrade account. So you can do that by logging into tdameritrade.com, and that will be under client services, then my profile, and then towards the bottom right you'll see exchange agreements. Make sure that you sign both of them. So the first thing I want to dive into is just the general appearance of the chart, because the only things we're really going to be using are the charts, the studies, the flexible grid, and that's pretty much it. If we look at the chart here, this is the home page. When you log in, I don't use this tab at all. I can close that by clicking that button, and then I'm already on the charts tab where I want to be. I have ES up, which is the E-mini S&P 500 futures. So first, you can see this is the default layout. It is drawing some trend lines that I had from previous analysis that I did, so I tried to make this as bare bones as I could. And I actually can get rid of this stuff for now. Just clicking the lines and deleting them, just so you guys can see from a fresh start how I would update this chart to look nice and clean. So first things first is we want to go into settings here, chart settings. It's the gearbox at the top. So first things I'll look at are, I want to make sure that I'm snapping drawings to open, high, low, and close. So when we draw trend lines or fibs or something, it'll snap to the candles, so it'll be exact. So let's see what else we got here. We don't need data box, we don't need that. Make sure our time zone is correct. So let's go click apply, and then let's go to the price axis. I like to add an expansion area of about 5% up and down, just so we have a little bit more real estate to see the price action. Everything else here looks fine. Let's go to time access. I usually like to add about 5 or 10. You can do 10 expansion bars. That's up to you. You'll be able to customize it how you see fit. So it'll push the chart a little bit to the left, so we aren't crunched up right to this right where the price is on the vertical column. I do want to keep the show rollover lines, which are just these green dash lines. You can see because the contract month and the year. So if I want to keep those rollover lines, I'll keep this box checked. Do I want to show expiration Friday? No, I don't really think I need to, because I understand as a trader that every third Friday of the month is option expiry, so it's not that important to me. So we can clean the chart up just a little bit, and then I'll keep the show year marking lines the way they are. And this is where we can customize our favorite time frames. So I don't use the 1 minute. So we can go ahead and edit that and put this to a tick chart. Do 512. Of course, this is all based on preference for you. And I'll keep the 5 minute, but make it 1 day. And 15 minutes fine, 30 minute, hourly, 4 hour, 1 day. All that stuff's okay for now. Next, we'll do appearance. I usually fill in the candles on the green because it's kind of hard to see. So now all the green candles are solid. Another thing I want to get rid of is the grid, because it's just a little too much for me. So it looks nice and clean right there. Another thing is I'll change the volume color to have about 50% transparency, so whatever half of that is, hit OK. So that'll cut that a little bit. And let me see really quick. Let me go back to general. Yes, this is one thing I really want to show you guys. Click overlap volume. That'll take the volume off the lower indicator and put it on our chart so we can have more real estate on the chart. It looks nice and clean now. Go back to appearance really quick just to make sure that we have everything we need. I think that looks good to me. And we're not trading equities or options at the moment. So let's go to futures, show open interest. We don't need to see that. And everything else looks good here. So hit OK. So if I want to keep this style for every single chart that I have, what I want to do is go here to styles and click save styles. And then I'll do PLT base style. I'm not including patterns and study set. It's just going to be for the candles and the appearance, and I'll click save. So if I were to, for example, reset to factory default, do that. So it's got the same crap that I don't want in there. I can simply go to styles and click load styles and go to PLT base style, and I've got everything I want, except for some reason the open interest is not saving. So if I go to futures, it must be because this is an indicator. So let me remove that. Yep. So actually what I want to do is override that again, save style, and I'll include patterns and study set and override it. And just to prove that that worked, let's try the same thing I did again. Let's go back to the factory default. Let's load that style I just made. And there we go. So for every chart that we make with the flexible grid, we can apply this style to it and then add our indicators on there as well. So next up, I'm going to go down to a 5-minute chart. Let's say we just want to add some indicators to the chart. We just click this flask right here, and that should open up a new dialog box. So let's say we want to add like exponential moving average. So start typing exponential and it should pop up. So there it is right there. Click add selected. I'm going to keep it as a 9 EMA, but if I wanted to edit the time frame, click the gearbox and we can change the length here. And I don't need the up signal and I don't need the down signal because I'm not trading off of that. And click OK and apply. So we have a 9 EMA from the 5-minute right there. Let's add a custom study that I have. It's a RSI study. Click add selected and we'll apply it, and that looks good to me. Also, let me add one more thing. I want to add my autofib study that I created. Click add and you'll see that it pops up there, and you can see that the autofibs pops up right there, and we can click apply and we can see that the fibs have drawn. And there's one thing that I noticed, and if we go to the studies here or the settings up here in the gearbox, if I go to price axis, which is the vertical one, unclick fit studies, which is making the vertical length of the chart expand to fit every study, because I have fib extensions on this study and I don't want to make the chart compress because of that. So when I unclick that button, it brings it back to normal. I can actually adjust this lower indicator by clicking right where the chart and the indicator meet, and I can compress it down to my liking so I have more chart room here. Let me just add one more indicator that I really like on my charts, and that's going to be the auto trend line or auto triangle channel. Click apply, hit OK. So this is, let's just say this is all the indicators that I want in all my charts that I'm going to add. Say if I want to have charts looking at the tick chart, the 5-minute, the 15-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour, whatever. It's up to us, right? Whatever we want to analyze the market. So we can actually click, so we don't have to add this individually every time. So let's go back to the studies button, and we can click save as set, and we can do PLT example, save, and then I'll hit OK. So that study set is saved, so I can apply it along with my appearance or my style to each chart that I add without having to add everything individually. To make this even faster, we can go in here to the styles and we can click save style again, and then we can click the base style plus indicators and include patterns and study sets. So this is a one-click thing that's going to save us a lot of time once we start creating different charts. So before we move into how to use the flexible grid, I want to cover some of the drawing tools that I find to be really helpful. So if you have a mouse, you can click the roll ball in the middle, and it should bring up all these drawing tools. You have a pan, which you'll be able to move the chart left, right, up and down. The pointer, simply if you click and hold, it'll zoom in on an area. If you right click, hit auto zoom, that'll bring us back out. So if you don't have a middle roller on your mouse, you can up here, and then we can go to drawing tools right here and then find the same stuff that I'm looking at as well. But for simplicity and usability, I'm just going to use my mouse. So here's a trend line. It's this diagonal line. So if I click that, since we're snapping to the high and low and open close of a candle, if I click this guy, let's say right here, click near it, it should snap to that low, and bring it close to there, it snaps to that other candle. So you can see it drew a trend line and we broke the trend here. So it's a nice thing to have. If I want to draw another one here, I can do that as well. And it's snapping right to the highs and the lows of these candles. So it's an exact drawing instead of estimating. So you can feel really confident that this is set up properly. So another one that I use, I don't really use horizontal lines because I have other studies that do that for me. But if you want to, you can use price level, and you can also snap that to a level that you want, just like that. And then another thing that I use, or you can use channels if you see a parallel channel, which would be something like drawing from this low and then to the same high, and then I have to draw the extension up to the next high that I want, and that will draw my channel. But I don't really need to use that because my auto channel will typically do it for me. And then the next one, the main drawing tool that I use is the Fibonacci retracements. I do have a study that automatically does it for me, but let's just say I didn't have that, and I could use that fib tool to draw from a measured move from high to low, and I can get the retracement levels. So let me get rid of that. Let me remove. So if you want to remove these drawings, simply click it, hit delete, and okay, now we're just back to our indicators with a clean chart. Next, I want to show you how to use the flexible grid, and this is how we can set up multiple different time frames to look at the market, so we can do our analysis and figure out where is the best location to take a trade. Let's say we like this chart. We want to take it from this main application and put it on a separate monitor that we have. So we'll go to the show action menu, and we can click detach. So now I can actually move this around. So my screen is sharing the laptop that I have, but I can drag this off into my other monitor and say put that on a bigger monitor so I can see the 5-minute chart a lot better. Let's say I want to do, let's detach another one, but I want to look at all the indices on another monitor, so I can look at the ES, the NQ, the RTY, maybe oil or gold or the YM or something like that. Let's click this rectangle here, and let's do 4 in a row. It's going to be a little compressed at the moment. So another thing is that before, I'm going to unlink this, but I'll explain exactly what that does. So let's say I want to do ES, I'll do NQ, and you'll see that this brings up the old default setting that we don't want, RTY, and let's just do crude oil, for example. So I don't want to spend all this time actually changing this stuff individually like I did for the first one. So let me move this to 15-minute. Let me zoom in a bit. If I wanted to just apply what I have on my ES chart here to all 3 of these, say I want the 15-minute, all those studies, I can go in here and save the style again. So it should be under styles here. So I can go to save style, and I can do 15-minute, include patterns and study set, save. So then I could come here to this one on NQ, and then I can load that study set. Bam, zoom in a bit so we can see the chart, and do the same thing here for RTY. And then one more time for CL. So now I can see all of these markets in the 15-minute with my indicators, so I can have a longer time frame look into what the market's doing. And then I can drag this one to my other monitor that I have and keep that so I can have that on my right side of my monitor, or however you like, wherever you'd like to place that. And what I normally have in front of me on my laptop screen, what you're looking at right now, which is currently the 5-minute, I typically have it split 2 ways. I'll have the 5-minute, like you see right there on the left-hand side, and then what I'll do is, this is still, I can do ES to the current contract. What I'll do is I'll link the right one to the left with the red. So automatically, whatever I type into these and the other 5-minute chart that I moved to the left screen will automatically update to the ticker symbol that I want. So first thing I want to do is simply just come in here and apply the style, and that's the base style plus the indicators, and I want to change this to the 512 tick. And I'm going to zoom in. There's a few things that I don't keep on here, which are the 9 EMA and the auto fibs, because I want to look at it from a longer time frame. And I actually don't need the volume here. So what I do is I go to settings and I go to appearance. I'll click on the preset color, and I'll pretty much turn off the volume color, make it fully transparent, because for tick chart I don't care about the volume, but I'll keep it on the 5-minute. So I actually have a lot more indicators that I put on here, but mainly for momentum price levels. It'll just be a bunch of horizontal dash lines that I can get the pivots from, pivot points, and then expected range, volume, VWAP, stuff like that. But I'm just keeping this simplistic. And if you are in our futures trading course, you'll be able to see exactly the studies that I use, so you understand what you're looking at when we're in the live trading room. Also note that you can actually save these grids as you want. If you go click on this rectangle that's split in two, you can save the grid, so you'll be able to do this on every chart that you popped out, you detached, and you modified. You can save the grid as an example for future reference, however you want to. And before I wrap it up and show you actually how to save this entire configuration, so if something were to happen where your TOS reset your settings by accident, we can save the entire configuration so we can load it from memory. One more last thing I want to cover is the flexible grid. If we click flexible grid underneath the chart tab, you can see this is kind of where you can start if you didn't already know that you could do it on the charts tab by clicking this rectangle up here and just adjusting the chart how you want, and then detaching it under this guy, under this drop down. But if we use the flexible grid, we actually can just use these buttons right here. Click this to add one to the right, click it again, add another one, and that'll remove it, remove, then we can add another one below it. So it's completely customizable. And then when you're done, you can click detach, which will open up another window, and we can move this to another screen. And it's as simple as that. So it's really amazing, and TOS is very easy to customize. And we want to make sure that when we're trading futures, we're only trading one instrument. We actually want to make sure that for the instrument we're trading, with all our other charts, we want to link that ticker symbol, say for how I have it on the 5-minute and the 512 tick. And usually on the right side of the screen, which I already created, are the indices, and I don't link those because I always keep those the same. And the first 5-minute chart that I made is typically the 30-minute, the 4-hour, and the daily next to each other. So that could be a little exercise for you to figure out how to do that. And if you need help, just leave me a comment on this video, and I'll be more than happy to help. I want to show you guys actually how to save your configuration. So if we go up to setup here, and then we save the workspace as, it could be like whatever you want it to be, PLT example workspace. So save. So that's saved. Just make sure right there. And then let's go ahead and reset workspace to default. And this is going to wipe out everything we just did. And it brings us back to the basics. Everything that comes with TOS as a default. And say, oh crap, how do I get back what I just had? You know, and good thing you saved it, saved your workspace. So we can go to setup, and then we can simply just go down to the name of the workspace we created, PLT example workspace, click it, and we want to click OK, and then TOS will restart and bring back everything we just created. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you guys. It's a very quick and straight to the point tutorial, and really all you need to know for ThinkOrSwim when you're trading futures. We don't need to know anything about the options, the trade, the analyze tab, the scan, anything like that, because we're trading the same instrument every time. If you guys have any questions or want me to dive into any of these features in more detail, just let me know in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to do that. And thanks again for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, just go ahead and click our logo that's popping up now to receive a notification every time we upload a video. And we will be back with another educational video for you guys very soon. All right, have a good one and happy Thanksgiving, guys. Bye.